Hey, what's up, DIYers? Mike Boers with the Mike Boers channel. Thank you for watching. Hey, today we're talking quarter cow cooks, and in today's video, the step-by-step process on how we cook a chuck roast in an Instant Pot. It takes about an hour and 15 minutes. However, you'll see everything on how we do it. Let's get started. All right, DIYers, hey, the first thing I want to do is reference this Angus beef chart. And right from the get-go in the center, you can see the cow and how it is sectioned off for the cut. And again, today we are cooking our chuck roast. And if you look right here, you can see chuck, and 26% of the cut is from that chuck section. And if you follow the line down into this entire chuck section, you can see the chuck roast right there that we will be cooking. However, before we start cooking, scrolling above right now, as well as down below in the comments and description, will be a link to a video where we reference this entire chart as we show you every single cut that we ordered and received before we cook it. You might find that video enjoyable. In addition, down below will be a link to a video that covers basically the end result of every cut of meat that we cooked. And in that video, you get to see a lot of cool stuff, how we thaw the meat, how we prepare it, how we cook it, and again, the end result of how we serve it just before we eat it. So if you have time or you're interested, definitely check those videos out. However, from here, we are going to start cooking. All right, DIYers, hey, good morning. It is early, but not too early. You can hear the coffee brewing in the background. And here is the chuck roast we are going to be cooking today. And we are going to allow it to thaw for a couple hours before doing anything else. We are back with you with a 4-hour update, just over 4 hours as you can see with the time. And from here, as the chuck roast continues to thaw, we are now going to remove it from its packaging. I've got the camera set back, and again, I'm going to unwrap the chuck roast from its packaging. And it is important to allow the cut to thaw prior to removing it from its packaging. And that is because certain portions of the packaging can actually stick to the frozen portion of the cut. And at that point, during the unpackaging process, it becomes very difficult. However, again, being 4 hours, the entire outer portion of the cut, not all the way through, but the outer portion is thawed to a point where I can conveniently and efficiently remove it from its packaging. And go slow. No need to splatter any portions of the cut as you remove it. And this is the part right here that really gets stuck when it's frozen to the meat. So again, allowing it to thaw really helps out. And this is a really nice cut. We do have a bone in the center, and there's another piece of paper. I'll remove that. And again, a very pretty cut. We will remove that bone prior to putting this entire piece or cut inside the Instant Pot. Now to a close-up view of the cut, and again, that is a very pretty cut. Not much fat, a lot of meat, minus the bone. Again, we are going to remove that bone before we cook it. And I've got an additional chuck roast in the background thawing. It does not have a bone in it. I'll show you that as the project goes on. From here, I'm going to allow it to thaw maybe another hour, and I'm going to grab a knife and remove the bone and maybe cut it into a couple pieces prior to putting it inside the Instant Pot. Back from a 1-hour break, and it is beginning to thaw pretty nicely. Time to cut. And a quick reposition of the camera. Again, it is now time to prep this cut for the Instant Pot. I'll slide this over, bring the cutting board in, and bring the piece of meat or cut over. Look at that. And I'm going to carefully remove this, and I am going to cut. And again, not a lot of fat and a lot of meat, which is nice. And again, I'm just going to remove this bone. A lot of people will keep the bone in it for added flavor, but for me personally, in this video, I am going to remove that bone. And maybe find my cuts right here. And again, if it's still frozen, it will be tough to cut. I promise you that. And maybe right there. And as always, be careful. Last thing you want to do is cut yourself. That would not be good. And from here, I want to show you just a close-up view of the bone. And again, a lot of people keep this bone inside the meat or cut, and as it cooks, this will be very easy to pull away or separate from the meat, again, after it's cooked. again, there it is. And honestly, if you do it this way and decide to keep the bone for added flavor, you can put the meat inside the Instant Pot and add this as well. Now to a front or top view of what I have cut and how I have cut it. And we've got 4 separate pieces now. Next, I grabbed a few things. I've grabbed some carrots, salt and pepper. I've got 2 cups of water. And I have got the internal portion of the Instant Pot prepped. And I will show you what to do next. All right, I've got the camera set back. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to grab the outer or larger cuts of the meat and rest them inside the Instant Pot. Followed by the 2 smaller cuts. And I may do an angle of sort. And from here, I'm going to put the carrots in. And I will remove this, clean my hands, and we will pour in the water as well as add the salt and pepper. Another quick reposition of the camera. Again, I've got 2 cups of water. I may not use all 2 cups. And I'm just going to not pour over, but just on the side. And take a look at it, and what I'm looking for is just the water level to come up to that bottom portion of the grate. In other words, flush with the grate. So as you saw, I did use both cups of water. I'm going to add salt and pepper. We have now transitioned to the garage. And DIYers, this Instant Pot, we will have a link down below in the comments and description on where to purchase this. I properly sealed it up, and this part right here is in the sealing position. And we are going to press pressure cook, and 1 hour and 15 is perfect because that will give us 15 minutes for the Instant Pot to pressurize and then 1 hour cook time. And there it is. And I'm going to keep it on normal and high. Again, 15 minutes for it to pressurize and 1 hour cook time. Back inside, and in the meantime, here is the second cut I was referring to earlier. And again, the importance of allowing the cut or meat to thaw before you peel this off. It will get stuck and it can rip. Honestly, at this point right here, still a little bit frozen. So I'm going to allow that to stay as is, maybe for another hour. To an update, system has pressurized, and coming up to the little tab there, it is up and it is cooking. 51 minutes to go. Back inside, and in the meantime, to a view of the second chuck roast we are going to be cooking today. And we are not going to bore you with that in this video. We are going to add different seasoning, different vegetables, however, cook it in the Instant Pot. And I was wrong. Not much fat on this cut at all. However, some bone at the top portion. I'll just cut those away. That'll be good. Back to the garage, 7 minutes to go. Back to a close-up, and as the pressure dissipates, all I'm waiting for is that little pin to lower. Not safe to open until that pin drops. Back inside, and the pin has dropped. Ooh, that looks good. And on to the next step. And as that cools off just a little bit, I've grabbed a strainer and a plate. What I'm going to do is grab some tongs and pull out each piece carefully and set it into there. Change of plans. Instead of the tongs, I just allowed this to cool for about 10 minutes and just get a feel for the internal brace or bracket. And all I'm going to do is carefully pull up and transition all of this meat to the strainer. And I'm just letting it drip off a little bit. And wow, is this ever going to be good. DIYers, you do not actually have to do this step. I'm just doing this for personal preference, just to again allow any of that remaining broth to soak down into the plate. However, I don't want the meat completely dry, just a little less moisture inside the meat itself. And if I look back in here, a couple carrots, I'll retrieve those and put them in there. And I'll let this drain for about 5 minutes, and at that point, I will grab some meat and present it to you on a plate. All right, DIYers, to the finished product, and nothing special, just added some peaches, and I have added the chili onion crunch, and I will have that down below in the comments and description as well. And I've got 3 cuts or 3 pieces, as you see there, and those carrots are extra soft, and I've had a few and they are good. And we're just a few days from Valentine's Day. Time to go get the red roses and put them in the center portion of the table. DIYers, thanks for watching. From here, do us a favor, below the video, you will see that thumbs up icon. Click on that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely ring your YouTube bell. That would be very helpful to us. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching. And DIYers, hey, if you're still watching, I just want to show you how tender this is. Look at that. And it tastes great. And DIYers, we are back with you, and it is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Aw, aw, aw.